This is When the Fuck Did I Become Old? The fun, edgy and unapologetically honest podcast about the experiences of ageing, where, as the title suggests, nothing is off the table. And I'm Jo Parker, your host.
And I'm Kev.
And today we're going to talk about why you should be fit, fabulous and flaunting it if you're over 50.
Indeed. I'm looking forward to this.
I'm sure you are. So we all...
Sounds great.
If you can flaunt it, it'll be fabulous. So we all know that fitness matters. We all know that the key things to fitness are strength, i.e. we should be lifting weights. We should be, and I say should be lifting weights at our age, and they should be heavy weights. And we should be doing some kind of cardio as well, whether that be running, cycling, rowing or something. And we should, I'm shooting all over the place, we should be doing some kind of flexibility, yoga, Pilates or something similar to that. So that puts us under quite a lot of pressure already that we should be doing all of this stuff in our 50s.
Well, is it pressure or is it just good stuff?
Well, I mean, you know, there's lots of shoulding here, and every article you read just does say opposing things. So yeah, I personally am doing all three in some shape or form, but right. I mean, sometimes I get an article telling me I should be running, sometimes I get an article telling me I should be cycling, sometimes I get an article saying I shouldn't be running. So sometimes I should be doing just weights. So it is a bit...
Well, it's slightly different between men and women, isn't it? I mean, because you've got the other challenge that women have to deal with around menopause, right? So that introduces some other specifics. Yeah. So there was an article in the Times the other week by Polly Vernon, who has actually written a book called How the Female Body Works.
Interesting.
And looked specifically at fitness in middle age. So to your point, how do those things sort of play out, and why should you or shouldn't you be doing them? So the main benefits that they were highlighting to doing that combination of activities was combat menopause symptoms. Bone density, people talk about a lot anyway, don't they?
They do,
especially
they really
post-menopause, about
jumping, supposed to
combating the decrease in bone density with or osteoporosis with age. Maintaining muscle mass, which obviously that's just an aging thing for men and women, actually.
Yeah,
the fact that you lose a certain percentage of muscle mass each year if you do nothing.
Yeah.
So it's a use it or lose it thing on muscle mass. Boosting mental health. Obviously, people have always talked about physical activity, boosts mental health, and it boosts cognitive function. Yeah. Reduce your blood pressure, improve circulation, improve your sleep pattern. Well,
not for me.
We have a long project with you on sleep.
Yeah, we have a long project. We'll come back to
that'll be another episode.
Definitely another episode.
And overall quality of life. So fitness over 50 absolutely matters for all of those reasons.
And we are seeing some very inspiring role models out there in terms of women that are over 50, aren't we?
We are now. They are literally falling out the trees.
They are, yeah.
Falling out the trees.
So, but I mean, are they inspiring or are they sort of like up there, unachievable? That's the...
Well, some of them are unachievable, but we have seen a range recently in the 50s and 60s, by the way. So it's not just 50s. But Mel C, Melanie Chisholm,
from
Sporty Spice,
Spice,
who is now 52.
We've had that where you are now actually come to terms with the fact that the Spice Girls are in their 50s.
Right. So she had a new album out. Well, I say had. She had a new single out in October, November. The album's not due out, I think, until May. But the single was called Sweat. The video for it is gym-based, right? So it's kind of like a Jane Fonda workout style video.
Gym-based with high heels, so...
Yes, I know, but she's still... but the point is, she's chosen a sort of a workout vibe, a bit of a retro pastiche of the Jane Fonda workout type of video, with ripped abs and, as you say, a unitard and a pair of stilettos. Whatever. But the point is, she's 52 and she has come back from a lot of other health challenges, right? And other addiction challenges, and absolutely ripped, fit, and on the right path now. We've seen Gwyneth Paltrow, obviously always, but Gwyneth, 53. So she's in that film, which we've been trying to see and we still haven't seen yet.
Watched it,
Marty Supreme, about the table tennis player. But in that film, she allegedly, given we haven't seen the film, is in amazing condition, seduces a 30-year-old Timothée Chalamet character in a sexy lace corset of some description, but again, looking toned, fit. And then there's J-Lo that you were looking at. In some pictures.
So a couple of months ago, wasn't it? She was in Vegas, and she had a stint at Caesar's Palace. She was there for 2 weeks. And I'm just looking at my notes because each show had 4 acts and 27 songs in those 4 acts and numerous costume changes. And she, at one stage, she was criticised because she wore a see-through spiderweb costume where you could see quite a lot of her body. And when she was criticised, she said, if you had a body like this, you'd be naked too. And you can't.
Which is quite a good response for a
absolutely.
56-year-old.
You can't take that away from her, but she works really, really hard to maintain that body. And she's 56, so I mean, hats off to her. I get that the celebrities work out and they get paid to look good, so they can't afford not to because somebody else will come along. And if J-Lo was looking like, a big tub of lard, she probably wouldn't have had a 2-week session at Caesar Palace because, Elvis has been there, U2's been there, all of that kind of stuff. So it's big, big acts. Even my childhood hero, Donny Osmond, has been there too, apparently. So, so there's been a lot. She got a lot of criticism for doing that at her age.
Yeah.
If she'd been in her 30s or 20s, she probably wouldn't have got that criticism.
Maybe.
I think.
And then it's not all about being fit, though, because we said at the beginning, fit, fabulous, and flaunting it.
Yeah.
So on the fabulous side,
yeah,
I'm going to go fabulous here.
You're going to go fabulous because you love her.
Gillian Anderson.
Gillian Anderson. Yeah, okay.
Who's 57, so we're ramping up the scale here. So obviously she's, in recent years, been in sex education, been in The Fall. She's got a new movie coming out, which I think is on Netflix, or at least it's Netflix produced, called Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma. And last year, because we bought the book, she published a book called Want, right?
Yeah,
which was all about female sexual fantasies, right? And about giving a voice to that. She's become an ambassador for L'Oreal in their Age Perfect campaign, which is focused on a skin range for women over 50. So the whole point about being fabulous, etc. And she was at the BAFTAs the other week, looking absolutely fabulous at the BAFTAs. And she's recently launched her own wellness drinks brand called G-Spot.
As in Gillian?
Well, Gillian, yes, but obviously G-Spot for something else.
Yeah.
And she's looking at 4 flavours that she's brought to market, called, suggestively, Lift, Soothe, Protect and Arouse. So to the point about being fabulous and like reinventing herself and
I
becoming
think
an author,
launching
another business line. I mean, just like...
I think Gillian Anderson's got sexier as she's got older. I don't think she's as sexy in the X-Files as she is now. I think she's sort of like got into her groove, and she's definitely fabulous at 57 for sure.
And then on the male side,
I was just about to say, because we haven't really touched on.
So we haven't got as many.
Well, we have.
Male
they're just not as criticised. So we haven't got the whole sort of like, we've got Brad Pitt and we've got Chris what's his name?
But he's not.
But
he's not in the press for being, fit and fabulous over 50.
No,
but Dylan Jones recently was. So Dylan.
Who's Dylan?
Who's Dylan? So Dylan's 66. He was the editor of GQ.
All right.
As well as the editor of the Evening Standard. He was a correspondent on The Face when The Face started out in the late 80s. So when GQ was first launched, I bought GQ for like 20 years obsessively. And so Dylan Jones was GQ.
Right.
He was the voice of style for like 20 years. So he was recently also made chairman of the British Fashion Council.
Interesting.
In his 60s. He's done an article recently on style, and style over 50 in particular.
For men.
And obviously he's he's very much into the whole tailored suit thing, right? So Savile Row, a degree of keeping in shape. So he has kept in shape, carrying it with confidence. He has lots of fashion rules you're not supposed to break, right? If you're going to look fabulous in your 50s as a man.
Do you know what they are?
But one of them that I thought particularly was amusing was the shirt button rule.
Go on. What's that?
So the shirt button rule is a 1, 2, 3, 4 button rule. It's 1 button undone during the day, 2 buttons undone at night. If you have 3 buttons undone, you are basically Ron Burgundy.
Who?
From Anchorman.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he said, if you have 4 open, you become Beyonce. So don't do that.
And
don't do
from
that.
a female,
it doesn't work.
Then that's not attractive.
It's not attractive.
No.
But to the point about him trying to keep fit, and he recently went to a health resort in Europe called Lanzerhof, which has a cryo chamber at minus 120 C. He lost half a stone in a week. Doing that? No, doing a diet, exercise, and cryo chamber sessions every day. And they measured his biometric markers for age. Yeah. At the end of the week, he was 10 years younger than when he started.
So I read somewhere that doing those ice things is not good for women. I don't want to read anything else. That's it. That'll do for me.
I don't want to do the cryo chamber myself. I'm just saying.
I've tried.
He was just pushing that.
Yeah.
Last but not least, he's definitely not fit. Not from what I've seen.
Right. What do you mean?
But he is fabulous.
Okay.
Morrissey.
Surprisingly. Oh, I thought you meant
at 66.
All right.
So
how do you know he's not fit?
I've seen him.
Okay.
I've seen the video footage of the concerts.
Right.
So, but he has recently done a tour in the UK. He was at the O2 literally a couple of weeks ago. How old is he?
Yeah.
66.
Okay.
And he completely sold out the O2. And he is like, he is off the main piece of musical taste, right?
Yeah.
So for him to suddenly come back to the UK, because he doesn't live here anymore, he lives in the States, but for him to come back and then manage to do a complete sellout of the O2, which was very well received.
So he's got to have maintained a certain level of fitness, because there are stars that reach 66 that can no longer sing very well.
True. No, he can still sing. Yeah. He can still sing. Yeah. And when he had a new single out, literally a couple of weeks ago, he was #1 on the iTunes chart.
It's funny you picked Morrissey. Why did you pick Morrissey as a...
Chris Morrissey's one of my legends.
Okay.
One of my musical legends. But he's not been... Whereas Coldplay, U2, whoever you choose to name, have been touring and touring and touring for the last 20 years and are still doing it. Morrissey was kind of off the charts for a bit, right? Yeah. He was not touring that much. He had a few tours that didn't go very well, and he was ill, actually. He had to cancel a whole bunch of gigs on a couple of tours a few years back. But to suddenly see him back in the UK and do a complete O2 sellout with not a huge amount of fanfare in advance, it wasn't like a huge press thing. It wasn't like the Oasis thing where you go, I'm going to advertise it a year before the gig, and then we'll get 72 sellout, 80,000 seats or whatever. It was quite low profile. Yeah. But I was quite impressed that he could absolutely...
We're going to go and see the Hollywood Vampires. Do you think they're going to look fit and fabulous?
I don't know, but we can do something on the Hollywood Vampires later. That's in August.
It is in August, yeah.
But anyway, so that's a bunch of people who are definitely putting themselves out there at the moment in various guises as positive role models for aging, because they're all doing some pretty impressive things of their own ilk.
And making returns as well.
Returns.
Comebacks. Yeah. Not J-Lo, she's been around for a while. But
coming back to the fitness thing, so you were looking at, in particular, one of the journalists in the Times who is 62 now, and she had a big...
Yeah, she did. So she had... there was an article about a woman called Alison Cork who at 57 lost 5 stone. And then at 62, she talked about how you maintain the weight loss, because she found after a year and a half it started to creep back on, and she hadn't really noticed it until clothes became really tight, because it's all very well losing the weight but actually maintaining the weight. And so she has a list of things that she recommends, and I can find reason not to do every single one of them.
Not to do any of them.
Even
I thought you were reading that article because you wanted to.
No, I don't want to do everything. So I mean, okay. because it's too much like hard work, and that's the problem. It's too much like hard work. I think if I were doing nothing, or if it were my career, it would be easier. But she she says her 10 top tips are: get on the scales every day.
I do that.
Yeah, I know you do. I don't. And I don't for a reason. And I don't because I have... And I didn't have scales in my house because I had 2 girls and I didn't want to encourage them to get on the scales every day. Because I don't think that's particularly healthy for young girls growing up. Right. So they constantly get on the scales.
But we're talking about you.
Yeah. So I got out of the habit of getting on the scales every day. And I don't want to get on the scales every day and go up and down and up and down and up and down. I'd rather do... I do it once a week. So I am conscious of the fact that where I am with my weight. But I don't want to do it every day. And then she said, keep your step count high. So the step count high is between 15 and 20,000 steps, right? Now, we know on moments when I've gone, drop me off at the gym, I'll walk home, or I'll walk home, I'll walk to the gym, or I'll meet you. That takes me an hour and a half. And I think I'd only do about 10,000 steps. So I don't have the time to do 20,000 steps a day. I don't.
Right.
So... I'm thinking, no, I don't want to do that. Train harder.
What happened to the go for a walk thing? Like the other day, you made me go for a walk with you.
I did.
And you said this is going to be a new thing.
I did, yeah. And it stopped.
I don't think you've done it since.
No. The time, it's getting the time.
Right.
Because we know that I do exercise. I'm like, yeah. So she says, train harder, not more often. Now that I do, I like that because ultimately I'm lazy. But at the moment, as we know, I am yet to go back into the gym and do weights because I did hurt my back, and that is much more precious than the train harder. And I am still doing other stuff.
How long have you got before they give you the green light?
Well, I'm going to give it a go whilst you're away, actually. Yeah, I'm going to give it a go.
Neglecting you.
Concentrate on what makes you look and feel good. So, and for her, it was her arms, and I get that. It's because as a woman, arms are things that for a long period of your life, arms are things that you don't want to do, and you don't want to wave because things move. So she concentrates a lot on her arms because her arms are out and when some are more than her legs. So she recommends, not being over cautious and doing everything, but actually if your arms make you look good, feel good, fine. If you think you look good because your legs or your stomach, you flap stomach, do that. So she's concentrating. I like that. Don't do more cardio than you need to. I quite like that too, because we know I started running and I found an article. I don't want to run. I went to see someone, and that's another episode. So I went to see a specialist, and we'll talk about that at some stage. So I'm quite happy to do the odd bit of cardio. And then there was a woman at the gym who was used to be a runner, and he's in her early 50s and has now holding on to fat because she runs. Right. Because she runs at the wrong time of day. So the cortisol levels are up, and the cortisol levels, blah, 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 make you hold on to fat. So I like the idea that she says, don't do more cardio than you need to. Thank you very much. Make sure you eat plenty of protein. Well, I do really try with the protein. I'm really conscious of the protein, but we always, I like bread. But I am happy.
You've been better on the bread front.
I am, recently. Yeah, and I am doing more protein. Full fat dairy. Now, nuts and healthy fats like nuts and avocados. Full fat dairy, I don't necessarily agree with because there's more protein in a fat-free yogurt, fat-free Greek yogurt, than there is in a full fat Greek yogurt. And of course, you're supposed to have quite a lot of protein, and I would rather take that in the fat-free.
But wasn't she saying you should take protein that wasn't the yogurt? Didn't she say?
No, who said that?
I thought you said you had to eat less yogurt and eat more protein of a different nature.
Did I? I don't remember saying that.
Oh, okay. I must be dreaming.
Go to bed the exact time, same time every night.
Well, close-ish.
Yeah. If you slip up, reset. The 2 resets with an omelette or turkey, beef, veg salad. So the reset is quite strict. So, and then the occasional fast can help you reset. Now, you didn't know me when I tried fasting. It's not good. It's not good.
When was that?
It's ages and ages and ages ago. But I did the 5-2 diet, 5 days of normal calorific intake and 2 days of 500 calories. I literally, at the beginning, I literally had 2 breakfasts the day after I did my 500 calories because I was so hungry. I'd woke up about 5 o'clock in the morning and I'd stuffed myself 5 o'clock in the morning. I'd have another breakfast later on. So I'm not very good at fasting. So I don't think I want to do fasting.
Right, but that wasn't like a fasting X number of hours a day. That was 2 days of complete abstinence by the sound of it.
No, it's 500 calories a day.
Well, okay.
Yeah. So I'm not very good at the
2 days
fasting
of
thing.
torture.
Yeah. Because I do tend to overeat. So like I would say 50% of what she said I can do. Obviously, it's different for everybody else. Everybody's individual.
But did you find her story inspiring though, or not? Or was it like, no, it's all impossible? Because she was talking about how she was a restaurant critic, right?
Yeah, that must have been tough.
And she had lost, as you say, was it 5 stone?
5 stone, yeah.
So to have done that, even at, what was it, 57? That's a hell of an achievement to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's a hell of a lot. Yeah.
The art of the possible.
Yeah, the art of the possible. She also said that it's much more glamorous to lose all of that weight rather than maintain it, because everybody sees how much weight you've lost. They go, oh my goodness, but people don't necessarily notice the sort of like half a stone that you've lost, or your maintenance that you're doing. It's not quite the same. It's like, that's a bit of a harder discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as at today, where are we now? I've lost 4 pounds in I'm trying to work it out.
And how are you finding it?
Actually, nearly 8 weeks.
Shit.
That's pretty bloody slow, isn't it?
It was pretty
and
slow.
that's as a result of mainly reducing the alcohol.
Yeah. Which you did promise to do in one of the previous episodes.
I did, but you know, it's not been quite as radical as I'd hoped. I thought I was just going to like lose weight hand over fist, but it's been a little bit harder.
So, but the thing is with all of this is that it does take it. I think it's get it into your daily life, because if I do 20,000 steps a day and I do weights and I do blah 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 and I do blah 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 and you know, and I've got to do yoga, and then I've got to do my meal prep, and I've got to weigh my meals, and I've got
we don't.
But I mean, if I was getting it right all the time, that's what I'd have to do. And then you have something else on why we get stiff, and so what we should do then
right. So given that you go to the gym, to be honest, more than I do, but even I'm at kind of max gymage, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas on a normal week, 5 times, maybe 6, sometimes 6 times a week at the gym for me.
And then we both get up going, ow.
And you go, well, okay, I'm doing all of those things. I'm doing the flexibility, like 1 hot yoga invariably a week, couple of strengths, maybe 3, couple of semi-cardios in the hybrid class. So you go, well, okay, I should absolutely be like, if it's a fiddle, why the hell
do I feel so stiff in the morning?
I feel so bloody stiff when I wake up in the morning and I feel like I'm a cripple and I can barely get out of bed? So turns out there are some reasons, and it's not that we're just useless. So that's encouraging. But
it's a different kind of stiffness, isn't it? It's not the sort of like, I've over-exercised my muscles, look at me, I'm great. It's that, oh God, ouch, go stand up.
Yeah, can't even. Yeah. So why is that? Okay, so 2 main reasons apparently as you age. 1, your tendons and ligaments apparently shorten with age.
Is that why we get shorter?
Which I didn't know.
Is that why we get shorter?
No. That's to do with your discs in your back.
All right, okay.
But the tendons and ligaments all around, right, shorten with age, which means they don't stretch as much, right? Which means you don't have as much motion through the joints. Speaking of joints need synovial fluid, and we have less synovial fluid in our bodies to lubricate cartilage and joints.
Is that why our joints
as we age?
Is that why we ache?
Those are why you're stiff, because your joints physically don't have as much lubrication in them, and your tendons and your ligaments are shorter, so you can't actually flex to the same extent, right? Now, so those are tendencies which are working against you as you age, which isn't to say you can't do anything about that. You can, but you just have to be aware you're working against 2 forces that are trying to pull you back, right?
But
and
in that article which you passed me after you read it,
there's
another long list of things you should do.
Right. So back to the shorter tendon ligament thing. Nothing I didn't really know, but I probably should have done. your ligaments and your muscles are 70% water.
Wow.
So the amount of water you drink, and God knows I don't drink enough.
You don't drink
I
any,
never
do
have.
you?
Well, no, I've had 2 glasses today.
Well,
Which for me,
that's because you're not very well.
it's actually quite. Actually, I am generally trying to do like half a litre at work
Oh, I did not know that.
a day.
Well done.
I don't always win. Sometimes I get to about 330 ml, but I'm just not used to drinking fluids. But yeah, ligaments and muscles, 70% water. So you do need to drink more water because if you want those things to stretch and you want them to be bigger, you need water in them. But in terms of the waking up thing, so to enable yourself to be less stiff in the morning when you wake up, box breathing they recommend. So that's your 4-4-4-4 box breathing exercise, right? Breathe, hold, exhale, hold. 5 sets of that. Why? Because that increases your oxygen intake, increases your blood flow. So if you want to get your body moving, it needs some oxygen to start with to be able to do that. Next, yoga knee hugs. So this is the old bring your knee up to your armpit, or wind removing pose, possibly, as some people know if you're into Bikram yoga. Lie on your back, 6 left knee, 6 right knee, pull it into your chest, hold it. Stretches obviously around the pelvic area and the back of your what do you call those babies?
Glutes.
Glutes, that's the ones, yep. Next one, 3-minute hot shower. I always do that. They recommend 3-minute hot shower in the morning for flexibility. I absolutely love a hot shower in the morning.
You do.
Ankle rotation. So again, to the point about your ligaments and tendons having sort of shrunk a bit overnight, flex your ankles anti-clockwise, clockwise, 10 times clockwise times 3 on your left, 10 times anti-clockwise.
Sorry, I'm laughing because this is more stuff that you need to do
Yeah,
before you even start bloody moving.
Lumbar rotations next. But now we do those in yoga, actually.
We don't do them in the morning.
No, we don't. But we do them in yoga.
Okay. Lumbar rotations, how many of those do
you put your knee over to the opposite side and hold your knee down. 6 each way, left and right.
Okay.
1 minute of cat-cow.
Yeah.
Which is about 10 reps. And then job done.
Brilliant.
You're sorted. You can get out of bed now. So
and then do.
So if you are crippled, the point is, if you are crippled,
and then do 20,000
you know what
steps.
I mean. If you wake up and you're like, do some of those, at least some of those. You don't have to do all of them, but do some of them, right? Because they can definitely help.
So if we were to do all of this, as I said, there'd be
You'd be fit and fabulous.
Would be fit and
flaunting it.
But would I? Yeah.
Probably
if I had a body like this, would I be? I'd be naked too. But I think actually we need to take some of this and just actually what works for us. But there's so much information out there that it just can be a little bit overwhelming.
Totally.
If we go back to the bits that we know work, that everybody's saying, but they're different. They're in different ways and doing different things. Everybody is saying strength, flexibility, and cardio of some kind.
Yeah.
Depending on who you are, how you operate, whether it's morning, evening, whether it's running, cycling, whether it's weights in the gym, whether it's Pilates or yoga, they're saying do that and eat healthily. Otherwise, and get sleep, which I don't do. But otherwise, if we look at everything that comes to us all the time, it just gets a little bit overwhelming.
So pick and choose from that smorgasbord of choices.
Okay, I will.
Pick and choose what works for you. Yeah. But the point is, there are things you can do to ensure that you are fit and fabulous. Over 50.
Definitely.
See you next week.